Então seja bem-vindo a mais uma Conversa Improvável aqui no canal A Cor do Dinheiro. Eu tinha-lhe dito que tinha uma surpresa para esta semana, nomeadamente uma surpresa em matéria de entrevista. Olha, a surpresa está aqui. Chama-se Sabine Scheunert, é a responsável da Mercedes para tudo quanto é IT e, como sabe, e sales também, como sabe, é uma daquelas áreas que tem crescido nos últimos anos. As marcas automóveis estão cada vez menos marcas automóveis e uma espécie de máquinas de marketing. Ora, a Sabine está em Portugal porque veio inaugurar aquilo que é o centro que a Mercedes I.O. tem em Portugal. E vamos, esta conversa, que vai ser conduzida em inglês, naturalmente. A Sabine tem uma casa em Portugal, mas ainda não consegue falar o suficiente português. Pelo menos muito obrigado, já sabe dizer. Bom, e a conversa então vai ser tida em inglês. Sabine, let's start by why did you invest in Portugal, Mercedes I.O.?
Yeah, we wanted, it was in 2017 we took that decision, and we absolutely wanted to, what we are calling in-house, the digital skills in driving the digital transformation for Mercedes-Benz. And at that time we were making an in-depth analysis on where could be a good location, I would say in the area of what we call Europe, and Portugal stepped out in the top 3 and then got voted as finalist. So we started to open our first office then here in 2017 in Lisbon.
But you're not used in Portugal having IT companies and so very high skilled companies here. But what was the main decision, main reason to choose Portugal?
I mean, you can imagine that we analyzed several criteria, and there is probably not one of the criteria. But what was absolutely important for me at the time was that we have access to motivated, talented, highly skilled, very open, innovation-driven, I would say, people who really wanted to join us in driving that digital transformation forward.
I remember at the beginning you were having trouble hiring very highly skilled people. How did you overcome that?
Well, we are also known, I think, nowadays for having created very innovative and creative recruiting campaigns here across Portugal. And
I remember that one driving a Formula One car, for example.
Now, what was important for us that people right from the beginning understood the ambition which we have, which also we sign responsible for, and we really wanted to be sure that people are not just coming and hopping into our company, staying for a little while and then leaving again. We really wanted to create a tribe, a very fierce tribe where people are coming, are joining and also staying, and this is exactly what we had in mind by doing these little creative outside the box ideas.
And what exactly, because we have about 400 people live now, so what are you doing in Portugal? What are you producing in this hub?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mercedes-Benz I.O. is producing the entire digital touch points, the global touch points.
Global touch points.
Global touch points for Mercedes-Benz sales, marketing and after sales. So in whichever web page of Mercedes-Benz.it.fr, wherever you go, these web pages are produced and are coming out of MBIO.
Conceived in Lisbon. Exactly. I mean in Portugal.
Also the car configurator, the global car configurator, where you can imagine we have millions of people sitting behind the screen in front of their laptops, their iPads, they are just configuring. It also is a product, one of the key products in the digital online channel is also taken care by MBIO. But also the very recently launched new e-commerce online stores selling new cars, used cars, but also digital products around the cars. They are also built here out of MBIO.
Yeah, Sabine, are car companies turning into digital companies?
Well, absolutely.
Because we knew that you were changing from car companies to mobility companies,
yeah.
But now car companies to digital companies?
Yeah, I mean our strategy is based on technology and on sustainability, and for sure also on modern luxury. And if you imagine that a company which since 130 years is known by not only the most desirable but cars that we are producing, but also of the technology that we are putting into it, the innovation that we have in mind by thinking always what can come next. We also want to be exactly on that same level when it comes to the customer experience. And here, for sure, we need to build the same luxurious digital products in the same manner as we are producing today our cars.
You are in a very privileged position to analyze the customer, how is it changing, how the habits are changing. Would you say that this change, because you mentioned, people are looking at our web pages, configuring cars, e-commerce. Do you see a huge change in consumer behavior in this aspect?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the consumer demands changed heavily. And this is mainly due to digitization, what is possible today was probably not possible 10 years ago. And people they want to have everything at any time, at any place. And they also want to have it in the same, I would say, comfortable, luxurious way of how they were used to have it when they entered into our physical stores. And nowadays, and I think also in particular the pandemic situation drove that extremely forward, that people simply want to do they start their journey, but they also now tend to finish their digital online journey in the online channel. And therefore for us it is super important that the omni-channel journey for a customer is really equivalent and is corresponding to our customer demands. And this, as you said, changed tremendously, I would say, in the last years.
At the beginning of your move into digitalization, I wondered if a 130-year-old company would be very swift changing. I'm very surprised. How did this revolution happen in Mercedes?
Yeah. I mean, it is a real revolution because you need to have a different mindset. I don't want to say that we did not have that agile mindset before, but it is something else to design and to build a car. If you imagine the life cycle, then if you compare it to a global car configurator or a digital product, which needs to be released on a second or in seconds. And therefore, speed was one of the major key elements for us, which was important that people understand why is it important and what it means in a digital transformation, in being speedy, in being fast, in trying out things, in delivering MVPs, the minimal viable products, and not always looking to the 100% solution, and that we have new opportunities and that the integration of technology also demands a different way of collaboration. Yeah, and here it comes to culture. That famous phrase, culture eats strategy for breakfast, and therefore we started to invest extremely early in the culture, in that culture that we need at Mercedes-Benz in driving the digital transformation forward.
We know that you're thinking about hiring more people for the hub in Lisbon. So this means your mission here is very successful.
Well, as I said, we evaluated Lisbon and Portugal, as we also have now an office in Braga, but I also need to say that we have that 100% flexibility. So that means we are not forcing our employees, even if we try to catch them back into the offices, but we have that 100% flexibility, so people can decide if they come, if they stay at home, so how they contribute. But let me come to your question. We evaluated Portugal as the place to be for our digital transformation. And we now, 5 years later, we would still evaluate that place is exactly the place where we want to be, and we also want to grow here. And therefore, we have currently 140 opportunities open online in our Mercedes-Benz IO web page, and we are clearly hiring, and we are searching for great talents joining us.
Bom, ouviu esta última parte, é que a Mercedes nisto teve dificuldade em contratar pessoas highly skilled, com as melhores skills para estes cargos. Ora bem, vai continuar a contratar, portanto, se você desse lado tiver formação nessa área e estiver interessado, já sabe porque vai haver oportunidades na Mercedes I.O. in Portugal. Eu vou terminar por agradecer a Sabine. Thank you very much, Sabine, for this conversation, or for my channel, and I wish you luck.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Já sabe que isto foi a Conversa Improvável. Nós voltaremos amanhã de manhã, às 8 da manhã, com aquele que é o nosso programa Porta-Aviões do canal, o comentário matinal. Muito obrigado, tenha uma excelente semana e amanhã vamos voltar com mais uma surpresa. Muito obrigado e com licença.